Hi guys, it's Mika Martinez, and in this video, I'm going to show you how most Shopify brands have no clue what they're doing with regards to SEO, and I'm going to show you how you can actually rank your Shopify brand on search engines like Google. If you don't know who I am a Shopify SEO expert. I've been in the SEO industry for over 6 years now. I've worked on over 200 plus projects and helped scale some of them to over 7 figures in annual revenue. So let's get to the video. So this is the playbook we use at 607 Media. And this is what it takes to actually rank your Shopify store on search engines like Google. You need to do technical SEO, you need to do on page SEO, and you need to do off page SEO. Every part of this process, every piece of this puzzle needs to be done and needs to be done well, because if any of this is missing, then you will not rank on search engines like Google. Like, you can invest as much as you want into your content and backlinks, but if your site or store is not built on a technically sound foundation, then you might not rank at all, right? And the same can be said, like, if your site is built on a technically sound foundation, but your keyword research is wrong, your content is not optimized for SEO, you might not rank at all, right? So it's important to have a comprehensive or holistic SEO strategy if you really want to rank on search engines. And that brings me to my point that most e-commerce brands have no idea or no clue what they're doing when it comes to ranking on search engines, right? So I'm going to give you a few examples of e-commerce brands that can improve their rankings, but are making some mistakes, right? So this first one is Lightspeed Aviation. These are all brands that I've done like quick audits on, by the way, so I have like some idea of what's going on here. So for Lightspeed Aviation, so when it comes to collection pages like this or product category pages, if you want to rank for flight bags, you need to have or use a template like this. You need to have the category name on top, a short description, product grid, a detailed category description below, and some frequently asked questions at the bottom, right? The mistake they're making here is that they have a really long description on top and no more content or barely any content below the product grid, right? If I inspect this, that's where the big problem lies. Like, if someone's looking at this site on mobile, there's a huge block of text up here, which helps search engines understand what the page is about, but harms user experience, right? Nobody wants to see a huge block of text when they're interested in purchasing a flight bag. They want to go straight into the products, right? So yeah, this brand could benefit greatly from implementing a template like this, just keeping this shorter and moving more of the content below the product grid. Okay. Next, Swedish Wild. So they're a brand that sells uh, wild game meat, right? So moose meat, reindeer meat, deer meat, etc. And the issue I see here is that if they wanted to rank for, let's say, reindeer meat, um, again, we look back at the category or collection page template, and they are making a few mistakes here where they're lacking content on the page. This is what a typical or normal collection or product category page looks like. It's just the H1, they have a description on top, and then a product grid below it, right? So that's like the minimum that needs to be done. Most e-commerce brands have the same setup. So what you want to do is actually, well, one thing is you want to optimize the key SEO elements, right? Like reindeer. Like, you're not trying to actually rank for reindeer on this page, right? You want to rank for reindeer meat. So you want to have your H1 as reindeer meat. You want to keep your URL as short as possible, so you don't need to put our reindeer meat. It can just be reindeer meat. And the title tag, you can just keep it as reindeer meat, right? And then everything else, right? Like maybe some what do you call this? Long tail variations of the keyword, right? Like reindeer meat, suovus, gurpy, etc., or sausages, right? Reindeer sausages, reindeer liver, reindeer fat, things like that. And yeah, again, back to the category page. This seems to be like the most common. Like I've done like probably hundreds of audits already, and the most common issue with content anyway, when it comes to these brands, is that they just don't have enough content on the product category or collection pages. You need to add more content to these pages because, well, number one, it increases relevance and provides the search engine with more context as to what the page is about, right? And if you make it easier for the search engine to understand and understand the content on your site, the higher you are likely to rank, right? And another reason to add content is, how else are you going to outrank sites like Amazon? If you try to look at an Amazon category page, they also have very few content. So that's how you can differentiate yourself from Amazon, not just Amazon, but your competitors. Your competitors probably have the same setup where it's just the H1, a short description, and a product grid. You should add more content to establish yourself as the expert or authority on wild game meat, right? Like there's definitely a lot of frequently asked questions people might have about eating reindeer meat, how to cook it, what are the best cuts, etc. You want to put that on this page because the search engine will see that and see like, okay, maybe this page or this brand deserves to rank because they are the authority or expert in this niche, right? Another mistake I see on this site, this brand called Lezine, is that the keyword research. Like a lot of brands look at like build their store or website based on without thinking or considering SEO, right? Like for example, if you wanted to rank for like front lights so Lezine is like a brand that sells, what do you call this, biking gear, right? Like yeah, here, makers of world-class cycling and e-bike accessories. So the problem here is that if you're trying to if you're trying to rank for front lights for e-bike, you need to make it clear because if your H1 is front light, your title tag is front light, and the URL just says LED front, it's very unclear to the search engine when it crawls this page as to what you're talking about, right? Like this can be front lights for anything. So you kind of want to be more specific because again, the search engine is trying to be as efficient as possible and use as the least amount of resources as possible. So you want to make sure the three key SEO elements, the H1, the URL, and title tag, make it very clear as to what the page is about, right? If it's front lights, like the search engine doesn't really understand what front lights you're talking about. They can be front lights of a car or a truck or a trailer or whatever, right? Obviously, it says so right here, like bike lights, and like probably throughout your page you'll see that, but you need to make it easier for the search engine. You need to allow the search engine to use the least amount of resources possible to understand what your page is about, right? So a lot of brands don't do enough or don't even consider the SEO perspective, or don't do enough keyword research to really even have a chance of ranking for their target search terms. Okay. Next, coffee.org. Like this brand has a really strong domain, right? Like imagine having the domain coffee.org. And the issue with this brand is actually the fact that, it's in the coffee and tea niche, but it's not building enough collection or subcategory pages to target enough keywords, right? Like when you look at when you look at their collection or product category pages, they don't have a lot. Like they're just banking on ranking for these really really competitive keywords. What you want to do is you want to look for longer tail variations of the keyword, because you do have the products to sell, right? Like Are there like Colombian coffee beans, something like that, right? Or Tanzanian coffee beans? You can create more sub collections to actually target and rank for those longer tail variations of the keyword. Okay. Okay. For this next brand, I think if I can recall, yeah, the issue here is that they don't really have any other sub collection pages, or they just have like gel strips or gel nail wraps, or like it's the same issue as the last one, where it's like you're just trying to rank for the broadest variation of the keyword when you can subcategorize so many times, right? Like you can do like gel strips by color, like blue gel strips, red gel strips, um, or gel strips by style, right? Like you can do uh, heart gel strips, glitter gel strips, things like that. There's so many variations that you can actually rank for, but you just need to create the subcategory or sub collection pages. If they don't exist, you can't rank for them, right? So there's a lot of missed opportunities, especially when, like, if you take a look at the authority of these domains, they have crazy high authority, but they're not making the most of that authority or backlink profile, because to rank for certain search terms, you need to have a dedicated page for those search terms. If you don't, then you don't even have the opportunity to rank, right? So moving on to the next one, lights all. So this is something that also took a look at, and they do have like a good variety of SKUs and product categories, which is really good for SEO. But again, when you look at the each of the pages, they're just lacking content, right? It's the same as what I mentioned earlier, that they just need to add more content to these pages, right? Like, what makes you different from, like, let's say Amazon or your competitors if you just have the H1, the short description, and a product grid? If a search engine crawls your site, again, there's no differentiating factor, there's no uniqueness, there's no information gain. So why rank your brand over like a brand like Amazon, right? Like, that's really how you differentiate yourself, and how smaller brands can outrank these large e-commerce sites like Amazon, Wayfair, Target, Etsy, etc. Right? You just need to add more content to your collection and product pages. Okay. Next is TechRoot. I remember going over this, and it's like, yeah, if you want to rank for BMW diagnostic tool, like, again, your H1 needs to be BMW diagnostic tools, because you're not selling BMWs, right? Like, your URL is correct and your title tag is correct, but your H1 needs to be like BMW diagnostic tools. And again, like, you need to add more content to the product category pages. It's just, you need to provide more context to the search engines, because if you're not, then how is the search engine supposed to understand what the page is about and actually rank you for the search term you want to target, right? Like, you need to give them more to work with, and like, just a H1 and the product grid is not enough, right? Okay, and the last one again, it's like, you have like a lot of like Alexander James has a lot of product categories or collections, but again, it's very unclear, right? Like, if I go to, let's say, granite stone, right? Like, this is a tiles website, but how you wouldn't be able to tell? It's like there's no tiles in the URL, there's no tiles in the H1, there's no tiles in the title tag, so they don't know what kind of granite you're selling, right? Like, you need to be more clear. Like, it needs to be granite tiles, and granite tiles on the title tag, right? And yeah, you only have one product, which is not good, because then you have just your collection is just a H1 and one product, and that's it, right? Like, this is what you want for a collection page, And I didn't go over like the whole playbook, right? Like, when it comes to technical SEO, like, most of these issues are just on-page SEO issues. So you can see that, like, a lot of these e-commerce brands are just not even getting on page right. And on page is, is key, because if you want to rank for a search term, you need to have the content on your site, and that content has to be optimized for SEO, right? And then if they can't get something like on-page SEO right, like, do you think that they're getting technical SEO correct, or whether they're even building any backlinks, right? So most brands have no clue how to rank on Google, right? So the competition is not that great for most industries, most niches, because even on-page SEO they don't get correctly, right? Which I think is one of the easier aspects of Shopify SEO. I think the hardest part is building backlinks, and I'm certain that if they don't have their content optimized for SEO, they definitely don't build any backlinks. Or even if they try to build backlinks, it's like probably low quality, right? So the competition is slim, and to outrank them, to outrank your competitors, you just need to be slightly better than them, right? So you just need to, do this playbook, right? This is a simple checklist I made. You just need to optimize your store for technical SEO. You need to optimize your navigation and site structure, make it easy for search engines to crawl and understand the content on your site. You need to optimize your shopping pages, your collection pages. This is a template I suggest. You need to, this is the template for the product page, which is the same concept. Like if you want to rank your product pages, you need to add more content, because again, more content increases relevance and provides more context to the search engine as to what the page is about, which allows them to rank you higher. Okay. And then supporting blog content. I didn't even check if these brands had a blog, but you need supporting blog content, because number one, you can rank the blog posts on search engines, so that can attract or drive additional revenue and traffic, even if they're even just slightly. And number two, they increase the rankings of your collection pages, like your shopping pages, via internal linking and topical authority. So yeah, having a blog on your Shopify store is a must. Okay. And the last thing is link building. Like Google any search term, and you'll see that the websites or stores ranking in the top 3 all have a significant amount of backlinks, and usually quality backlinks as well, right? Because links are still the number 1 ranking factor on Google. You can see sites that aren't really an expert in their industry ranked for search terms just because of the sheer amount of domain authority or backlinks they have on their website, right? So yeah, and again, you need to do every piece of the puzzle. You can't just rely on one and expect to rank, right? So I mentioned a lot of on-page SEO issues on these sites earlier, and yeah, it's very important that you get your on-page SEO or content optimized, but don't expect to rank if you just do this one piece of the puzzle, right? You need to do everything. Okay, so if you do on-page SEO or optimize your shopping pages, publish blog posts, etc., you should be building backlinks as well, because you might just be wasting your resources if you don't do the whole thing, right? Like you can't just invest in on-page SEO and expect to rank. You're just wasting your resources. You need to do the whole playbook. Okay. I know this was a little long and I kind of winged this one, just going through sites very rapidly, pointing out the mistakes and why I think most, like 90% or more of the e-commerce brands I audit look like that. And then they have very simple mistakes, right? So the competition is slim. And if you can implement a strategy like this, then there's no reason you can't outrank your competitors, right? So that's it for now. I hope this video was helpful. If you want more of these, let me know. And yeah, that's it. If you want us to take care of your SEO for you, if you don't have the time to learn all these things yourself, I recommend you book a call with me. If you book a call with me, there's no obligation to work with us. So at the very least, you end up with a free SEO consultation and an SEO action plan that you can implement on your own. So yeah, that's it for now. Thanks for watching.